Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got this. If you can see, it is the Torres from Kgm, which would seem like a new company, but it is actually just SsangYong. Tell me some more, Oliver.
Well, this is interesting because we had the EVX, which was the electric variant of this. This is the 1.5 petrol Torres. I actually prefer the front of this car. I took this on a massive family road trip. I've got so much to tell you. I've got the good stuff, but I'm going to be honest with you. There's one incredibly bad thing wrong with this car. Stay with me, let's get into it. Okay, let's start off. This is a press car from Kgm. I've had it just over a week now, and I've tested everything I can with the car, and I wanted to take it on a big family journey. Before we get into that, I'm on a bit of a gravel road with some huge potholes, and I thought this would be quite a good little test to just kind of go pretty slow. I've got Adam in the back with me as we test the suspension, because we spoke a little bit about the EVX we had on our channel. Check it out, that was a good review, and that did move about quite a bit. Now these are both built on exactly the same platform, and it has just handled that little gravel road pretty well. I took this on a huge 400-mile round trip, and I found out a lot with this car doing a journey like that. I filled it up, the boot's been absolutely fantastic, and I think that's one of the key selling points of this car. But I found out a lot of things that I thought were pretty good, and then I also found out one tremendously bad thing that I couldn't wait to share with you, and especially if anyone else is looking at these. Okay, let's start with the good about the Torres internal combustion engine, because let's be honest, if you are researching this car, you would have seen a lot of negative naysayers, and the EVX as well, with this internal combustion engine. People saying it's not really good, it's got some bad faults with it, the ride's not great. But this is what I have found out. When you are driving 60 to 70 miles an hour on an A road or on the motorway, the car is smooth and comfortable, and you don't really need to do much. You keep the wheels straight, and the gearbox seems to work pretty smoothly, because not all the time it does. We'll talk about that more later. And also, when you are using the adaptive cruise control, it works really well, and the gearbox seems to work a little bit smoother with the adaptive cruise control on. So good bits, long journeys, A roads, motorways, doing a little bit of a higher speed, super comfortable, and not as loud as everyone makes out. A lot of reviews and other people said that they had a lot of wind noise, had a lot of road noise. I didn't actually find that. I thought it was actually pretty quiet and pretty comfortable.
Okay, so let's have a little walk around this car. What do we think? Let's start with the front.
I really like this front. I prefer this to the EVX front, and I did get about 7 people while I was on my trip, some surfer dudes, attractive, good looking, saying, "Hey bro, I like your truck." I was like, well, it's an SUV, and they thought it looked like a Range Rover from different angles.
Weird.
That's all I got. Range Rover.
It doesn't look like a Range Rover to me, but I think
some of those people aren't car people, maybe.
Okay, but looking at the front, I just think it looks a bit sad. It just looks a bit sad. I think the eyes just look like they're crying or something.
No, I like these are the best lights on over the Torres variants. I just wish the rear tail lights would look similar.
Okay.
Does anyone know what this is? Let me know in the comments. Adam, do you know?
A red bit of plastic.
It's a red bit of plastic, but why is it so important?
I don't know.
Because there's a towing eye behind there.
Oh.
20-inch rims, if you have a look at these.
Also, little question, why is the front different to the EV one?
Because why would you make a car that looks exactly the same?
But they're both Torres, is.
Yeah, but one's an electric vehicle. It's nice to make it look different, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. It's nice to make it look different, otherwise people would go...
Okay. Well, let us know which front end you prefer from the Torres EV and the Torres petrol.
This one's better.
This one looks better. I like the
rims
colour.
On these.
These wheels are nice. I like these wheels.
So we've got 2 trims, the K30, the K40. K30 has 18 inches. This is the K40 with 20 inches. It probably would ride better with the 18 inches from the K30.
Lovely.
Again, we've got the fake spare tyre look.
The back is slightly different to the EV one as well.
Mainly because of the lights, yeah.
Different lights. Why is there different lights?
I'm glad there's different lights, because again, I think these lights look better than the other lights. Still, I think you could have gone better. Like the front headlights look really cool with the swoosh.
Yeah.
But why have they... It's a bit clunky.
Yeah, it's quite off-road-esque. I actually quite like the design from the side and the back of this car. I think it looks fairly smart.
Yeah.
You'll have to let us know what you think.
Tow bar on there, although you probably wouldn't want to tow much with a 1.5 petrol.
Probably not.
1.5 tons.
All right.
If they had a diesel, you'd probably get a 2.5 tons, but 1.5
yeah,
towing
a diesel
on this.
would be much better in this car,
Yeah.
I think.
Also, like, the brake discs look really small.
They do. They look like it's straight off a Polo there.
Like, they look,
I'm sure it will stop.
But overall,
Overall,
this is, in the EVX, this was blacked out, do you remember?
yeah, it did look.
But, it's silver here, but I have seen a really cool picture with a box, a side box on the internet.
Ah, that is
makes
cool.
it look a little bit more Defender-esque. Okay, it looks off-roady, so let's see if it can actually do a little bit of off-roading, even though this is the front-wheel drive Torres. So we've got some big mud ruts here. The steering is super light. Oh, it's gone down that dip. Ooh, something's beeping at me. But you know what, it's all right, it's doing quite well. Just in these mud ruts, a few little, oh, I can feel a bit of skidding, a bit of movement. And right, let's give it a little bit more. Oh, there we go, and we're out. Movement, movement. Bumpy, bumpy, but, oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, so we're out of the mud ruts, the 4x4. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to take it off-road, but as you can see there, it did get through those little bits of mud ruts. We put it to the test.
Look at that ground clearance. Look at that. You got some decent ground clearance there. That's all right, isn't it?
With this Torres, you also get 703 litres of boot space. Plenty, so much stuff you can put in here, and it was really handy for my big family trip. Same as the EVX, the electric variant. A few little bits down here you can pop away, little cubbies, and some deep cavities on the side as well. Put the seats down, even more space.
Right, so let's talk about the interior of this car, because I feel like there is a bit to talk about, and I want to show you all of the best features around this car. So let's turn you around so you can get a better idea. Let's start off with this here, which is the driving displays and your
2.12, so there's two 12.3 inch with a slight kink here, which reminds me a little bit like the Nissan Ariya, and the colour scheme as well, the copper accents.
It's okay. Like, I like that you've got some ambient lighting here, which is quite nice. You got the KGM logo, and it's quite a thin sort of wide screen, isn't it? But it does the job, and the interface isn't too bad. We've got Ollie's iPhone. I mean, this is like your main, that's the screen behind the steering wheel. That does its job. I mean, I like this here.
The centre console.
The centre console, because you've got storage down here, which is nice to see. You got storage in here.
Wireless phone. I like how that wireless phone does. It doesn't wobble.
Wireless phone here is nice. This is quite a big hole. Two cup holders and another little bit here. And Ollie's put his sunglasses just here. Standard glove box. These materials are quite nice, aren't they?
I think overall it's really simplistic, and it works.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not too sure about is there's no buttons for your aircon and stuff, which I don't like.
Yeah, and this, look, same again with the EVX, right? So when you're in this, you wouldn't really know the difference between this or the EVX because it's completely the same, especially the same, the colour contrasts. But like with the EVX, to get the drive modes, you'd think you'd have a button there, but you don't. It's up here, and you've got to bring that down and go drive mode here.
So yeah, anyway, that's the interior. Let us know what you think in the comments, because it's all right.
Ride height is good as well, but I'll tell you what, the front of this car looks good. Even with that little flash of red on the ITO cap on the front of the car. People look at it, people want to come over and they want to talk to you about it. Now, if you're someone that doesn't like that, I get it, it's fine. However, I love it when I have a car, when people ask me questions, what is that? Is that a Range Rover? Is it this? Is it that? And I say, no, it's this. I get it a lot when I have a Genesis. I get it a lot when we have the Kgm or the SsangYong brands, or brands that aren't really widely known in the UK and Europe. And a few people have said, oh, from this angle, it looks very Range Rover-esque. That looks really cool. I like it. And people have been genuinely positive about the exterior looks of the car. Oh, I've got to add on that, the heated and cooling seats have been wicked, especially the cooling seats, because I was like, oh, how much can it cool you? But actually, the amount of air it shoots up your bum gullet feels spot on. I've enjoyed that. You've got a heated steering wheel as well. So, like I just said, it's one of its strengths. But now the bad stuff. KGM, open your ears and listen up. This 6-speed gearbox is an absolute mess. You have to be so controlled driving this car. You have to be so smooth. If you are not smooth and you're coming to a junction or, you know, a corner, a curve, or on a B road, this 6-speed gearbox does not know what to do. It's laggy, it's really crude, it's jolty. For example, if I want to put my foot down now, nothing. And then all of a sudden, whoa. It just feels a little bit disjointed. There is a way around that because I've been driving this car a lot. Use the manual paddles. Straight away, I can just use the manual paddles, pick the gears I want, and then I don't get that horrible holding on to gears when I don't need to be holding on to gears. And then also, when I'm pulling out of junctions and I feel like, right, let's go, I need to go, otherwise there's going to be a big crash. And the Kgm Torres is like, sorry, gearbox says no. Also, why are you putting a 1.5 gutless engine, petrol, into this mammoth beast of an SUV? So this is a body-on-frame construction, so it's not a unibody. So it's heavy, it's slow, it's not going to be as safe as a unibody construction. But towing, you can tow 1.5, 1,500 kilograms. But it's just so revvy all the time. If you had a nice 2-litre diesel, or if they worked with Kia to get their 2.2 CRD diesel they use in the new Sorento and some of their older cars as well, 2.2 diesel in this, it's going to tow more, it's going to be more efficient as well, and it's going to have an engine that isn't have so much stress put on it. I don't want to hammer it too much because it is good on straight roads and going slow. Okay, this has been the main thing that has annoyed me with this vehicle, because actually I have really enjoyed having it and taking it on a long journey. But the one thing that has been absolutely, I want to say dog shit, so I'm going to say dog shit, bad, is the miles per gallon. It has been dreadful. The miles per gallon. Right, so it's supposed to get 33.2 mpg, which is what you get when you strap a 1.5 engine into this mammoth beast. But okay, so I don't actually, there's no way this is correct, this efficiency info saying 32.8 I've been getting, and it kind of changes a little bit. But anyway, I've had to fill this car up more than what I've had to do other cars. Now, we get a lot of cars. There's only a few cars that we actually ever have to fill up. I can name a few of them: an Audi RS4, an Audi R8, and this, the Kgm Torres. Most of the time, they don't need filling up because either we haven't driven them that far or whatever, but they've been efficient. This has been one of the most inefficient cars, vehicles I have ever driven. I've literally seen the miles drop. I've driven 3 miles and I've seen it lose 10 miles. How does that happen? Like, even now, I'm literally nearly on empty. I've got 146 miles left. And I filled it up yesterday and had a 340. So 200 miles has gone from now since yesterday, and I haven't driven that many miles. Anyway, you need to tell me, if anyone has got this car or had this car, you need to tell me what you've been getting MPG wise in the comments, because I don't think I've even been getting 20 MPG, if I'm being honest. It is just so thirsty.
Right, so we want to talk about the competition of this car and see where it sort of sits in the spectrum of SUVs. Price?
35k for the K30 and 40k for the K40. 38k, sorry.
Okay.
For the K40, yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
So where does that sit? Where does that sit with our competition?
The thing is, there's quite a lot of good competition, you see, because this is quite a big car. You've seen how much boot space. It's got more boot space than anyone else.
That's a really good plus of this car, I think.
It's got 5 years warranty on the petrol internal combustion engine side of things. They do 7 years for their electric. But right. Ford Kuga, people like a Ford, yeah, big car, £31,745 they start
like that's a lot smaller though.
Yeah, and well, but also it's cheaper for a more well-known brand, isn't it? Because if you're thinking... Yeah.
Okay.
You know, people like Ford's got a huge gang.
Yeah, moving on.
The Hyundai Santa Fe, the one that looks like a fake Defender, big car.
Yep, that's quite nice. I like the new one. That's
45k, so...
Bit more expensive.
A bit more expensive. All right, Mazda CX-5. We had a go in Mazda recently.
Yeah.
It's 31k, so that's cheaper, 4 grand cheaper.
Yeah. $4 cheaper.
Toyota RAV4, that's a big car. We had the Suzuki one as well. That's 39,000 and that's hybrid, so that's about $5 more. Nissan X-Trail, this is probably where...
yeah, we like quite
I like the X-Trail,
yeah,
and I took on a similar journey with this one.
Go on then, hit me.
34,450. Now Skoda Kodiaq, 36,645. So that's
all right.
One.
But I feel like the quality of this car, it does outperform a lot of the brands that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I think with this, the best thing is all the tech you get. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, the cooled seats. I'm going to talk to you about them because they're really good.
Nice. I feel like the interior of this car is just a lot better than, say, Cougar or any of those brands.
And this is real, because this is the K40 trim, this is real leather. So the only difference between this and the K30 is you get fake leather, but it's still a leather kind of feeling material. No pano roof, which is a bit annoying because you've got a ton of headspace. Yeah, a pano roof would level up this interior just a little bit, I think. Okay, I know this car isn't made for going fast, but I'm going to put the drive mode into sport and I'm just going to show you. I do like how the digital cluster changes, got some corners. Let's just give it a bit of a blast. So the handling is, oh my gosh, that's got some lean. I'll tell you what, you don't have to push this car too far before you lose grip. I remember going around a roundabout just going, oh, let me just see if I can just steer a little bit sharper, and I felt a bit of understeer. But steering wise and handling, it's doing all right. So far so good. The engine just feels so revvy all the time and it's beeping at me because I haven't got the lane keep assist off. But I'll tell you what, let's take it around this corner. This is a sharp right-hander and let's have a whoa. I mean, that is, my foot is flat to the floor and that is so delayed. But I think it's not going to be a make or break deal with the handling on this car. It does what you need it to. You move the steering wheel, the car, it points, it shoots. I think some people have given it a little bit of bad press with the handling, but I think they've been a little bit too harsh on it because it does handle well and it does everything you need to do. That's the most important thing. You don't want to drive this car too fast because I told you, the efficiency, the MPG is just going to drop. In fact, what we got, because I've just blasted it in, it's saying 32.3, so it's lying to me, it's dropped down anyway. I've had a little chat about the Kgm Torres. I want Adam to talk to me about comfort levels because he's in the rear seats. Talk, Adam. Okay, I'll talk. So let's start off with your bum, how it feels on the road. I think the suspension is okay in the back. It seems to soak up the lumps and bumps absolutely fine. Seating position's fine, it's quite nice. Let me show you headroom. There's absolutely tons of headroom here. Knee room, there's quite a bit of knee room, and the seat is back to, you know, have a passenger in the front as well. Heated seats in the back, which is really nice to see. Let me show you that there. It's got 2 settings, that's nice. The blind here, that is also nice to see, as it's not standard on a lot of cars. You've got 2 USBs down there, but no like climate control or anything in the back. You've just got 2 vents. Little seat pockets in front of you, and the visibility is okay, especially when you've got this gap you can sort of see in there, which is quite nice as well. Onto like a slightly annoying bit, what I've discovered in the back of this car is there is a squeak, and it sounds weird saying there's a squeak in the car, but it sort of feels like the seats and the outside of the car are like rubbing together, and I don't know if it's just because it's this leather or what it is, but when Ollie's going over like some B-roads or something, this car just seems to like squeak and vibrate. I'm not really sure what that's about. I don't think I've really experienced it in another car before, but I'd imagine over time I'm sure you'd probably just get used to it and ignore it, but I'm just a bit like, what is that noise? Apart from that, everything else is as you'd expect. The seats are quite nice and comfy, the material is quite nice, so yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Now the adaptive cruise control works really well. And I think I said this earlier, when you're on the motorway and you do that, it does go pretty smooth through the gears, and that's when you get a lot of comfort with the car. The infotainment, the shortcut buttons are on the left-hand side. Now, I don't know if that's because this is kind of just taken from a left-hand drive vehicle, because it would be nice if the shortcut buttons would be on the right-hand side here, because it's the furthest way I have to touch. But when I do go to the sat-nav's actually worked really well, and I like how you can bring the sat-nav nice and big by pressing one of the buttons on your screen, and you can have it in front of you there. That's definitely going to help a lot of people. That's some really cool tech, because not all brands have a huge sat-nav visual display like that. And to be fair, the sat-nav works really well. I've been pretty impressed with the sat-nav on this. And then the lane follow assist and the adaptive cruise control all works really nicely.
Alright, so that has been our review on the Kgm Torres. Is it good? That's the real question that we're actually asking. Is it a good car? Ollie, yes or no answers only. Yes or no?
Over all the good things about this car, I cannot get over the fact that the MPG is just so bad. So it's going to have to be no. Guys, I know, listen, we've showed you everything about the car. I've told you about the good bits, but there is some bad bits too. Let us know what you think of the car in the comments below. If you're an owner, if you had a go in one, I want to hear from you. As always, throw us a like if you like the episode. Get a sub to Car Chat TV, and we will see you on the next one. If you've made it this far, thank you ever so much for watching. I've just popped up 2 more videos on your screen that you also may like. If you do watch one, let me know what you think.